only dance to reggae and calypso.
She want got man in her title.
She only dance to reggae and calypso.
City killers make racks, it's vital.
She only dance to reggae and calypso. Got bare bomb bang for a rap.
Okay.
Who's that? Russ.
Reggae and Calypso, Russ.
I thought I recognised the voice.
Yes. YV is a young gunner that we know is K's best friend's nephew.
K's best friend's nephew.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I know. Just totally forgot that. But yeah, he's doing his thing.
Cool. Is he a young driller?
He's a young driller. He's got the wave thing. He's got the drill thing.
All right.
And that song, I think, got to number 2 or top
number
10.
Number two in what?
10. UK.
I don't understand. I
it.
don't get the charts anymore. Cause when I was growing up, it was Top of the Pops, and that was the charts. I'm not sure we still run the same chart system.
Like drill chart. Or...
No. We're talking about top 10. These guys are UK now.
So you're telling me if Top of the Box was still on TV
they would be on Top of the Pops.
If Top of the Pops on right now, it would be
full of Diggity, Central C.
Yeah, like RD, like which is
yeah.
So,
yeah.
What do you listen to these days?
Bro, I listen to all sorts of shit, man.
Okay. Anyway, right. Before we go into that, welcome to episode 5 of your Girls Crusty Foot podcast. My name Yuri,
Mr. T,
and our special guest for today,
FA.
There we go.
All right, FA is actually Yui's brother. I'm gonna throw it out there from jump. Like that was the pass to the show, but he's already shown me within like the little before we start recording how much he's bringing today. He's like a wealth of information and knowledge.
Well-traveled, intelligent mother.
What did you just tell me about cereal? Why was cereal invented? This is gonna blow your mind, people.
Well, basically, Kellogg's, the guy who invented the company Kellogg's and shit, he had this idea that that one of the things ruining the youth of today was the spice in the food and all like the exciting food. So he thought if he created the blandest, plainest food for everyone that they had for breakfast, that it would stop masturbation. So he basically created Kellogg's cereal, cornflakes, to stop masturbation.
Well,
that blew my mind.
It doesn't make any sense.
Exactly. I'm still trying to get the logic.
So as he was saying it, and he said the spice thing, I suddenly thought of like us and the spices we eat and our virility, and I thought maybe that was a thing. He traveled to the continent. So these Negroes, they eat a lot of spice and they produce a lot of sperm. So maybe he was thinking maybe the bland food would counteract that.
I'm not sure what year it is, but I'm going to assume it's like the early 1900s. And if that's the case, like a lot of things back then, like marijuana, for example, the whole reason it was demonized is because so many Mexican people were coming into America smoking. So it's the same thing. If you have this idea of like Hispanic or black people being all crazy, and because that was the idea, we were all emotionally, disruptive, and like everything any situation. Exactly. So
Oscars.
And like, literally, I'm surprised it took that long to be fair. Like,
a Will Smith reference within 3 minutes of the show. I was trying to see clearly.
Exactly. If Kellogg's was still about, he'd have been like, he's not eating his cornflakes. If he was eating his cornflakes, man's would have chilled. I'm just saying. But yeah, it's weird.
With this whole cannabis thing, I was actually thinking on the way here, when are we actually going to legalize cannabis in this country?
When the Tory party.
I thought it was legal. I thought it was like semi-legal now. So you can
CBD is legal. Shout out Infusions UK.
Infusions UK. All right, listen, these cookies, these cakes are a different level. If you ever want a cake, it's not only gonna hit the right spot in terms of your THC, CBD levels, but also taste scrumptious. Infusions UK is a place to go.
Check them out on Instagram. Infusions UK. Anyway, CBD is legal, but cannabis isn't, like with THC.
Right.
So in America, we've got obviously Amsterdam, we've got Spain, we've Canada, the whole of Canada.
Uruguay, same thing, whole of Europe.
Uruguay, that is the most
Switzerland,
random thing to know.
I think
parts of Germany.
Did Thailand? One Asian country.
Oh, I don't know about Thailand's very harsh on drugs.
I thought Thailand you could buy like weed on pizzas.
In Thailand, you will get put to prison for 3 months.
What countries you can buy weed on the pieces? One of them,
Cambodia,
Thailand.
It is Thailand and it is Cambodia as well, but they don't. It's not legal.
This is someone that's travelled, like just left this country and decided to travel for 2 years all over, the world. That's another interesting thing.
But the rules out there are wild, man. Like, as in, on one instance, like tuk-tuk drivers are like out here trying to shop meth and shit, like all sorts of stuff. But like the police catch you with half a zoo, they can legitimately put you in prison for 6 months.
Do they, or is it like a kind of thing they can, but it's not really done?
I don't know.
There's the bribe culture as well.
To bribe themselves out.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
There's the bribe culture.
Have they got the cup of tea thing over there? I know in China you got like a custom where you sit down with a cup of tea with a police officer, and that is your chance to make an offer of money.
Well, what happened to you? Let's throw it out there. He got, you know what I mean? What happened?
Not to put myself on blast or anything, but like, obviously I was.
This is your girl's crusty foot, man.
Exactly.
Everything's open.
Obviously, I was traveling, and it's a different mindset when you're traveling. You're doing your own thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, disclaimer out there. But what happened? What happened to me was I was at this hostel in Cambodia. And I'm gonna leave out some details.
Okay.
I'm gonna leave out some
Don't
details.
leave out the details.
He will know what details I'm leaving out, but like they're not details that I'll take away from the store. They will take away from the story.
Okay, I'm gonna look at you and try and guess what the details
Yeah,
are.
sure.
Right.
Give it your best. But anyway, we were at this hostel. We were all drunk, and it was like end of the night. Go to the strip. That was the way you did it. Everyone.
Lady boys.
There were no
Man
lady
went
boys.
that way. Wow.
Say time, you say details on leaving out.
This is
after lady
Cambodia.
boys.
This is Cambodia. So less lady boys, more Thailand. That's the energy. Anyway, on the strip, and this is the piss take of it all, right? This wasn't even my fault. I was like, there was, these sometimes they have clubs where the music's like pouring out into the streets and everyone's like dancing on the road and thing. Anyway, I was with my hostel friends who are now my best friends for the last week. So, anyway, man's like, let's go somewhere else. Hold this for me. I'm going to the toilet. Gives me literally, when I say this much of a zoo, this much of a zoo. Like, I didn't even, to the point that I didn't even know it was a zoo. I just thought he was giving me a cigarette. Holding it. Within 3 seconds, this small Cambodian man comes over, holds my hand. I'm like, what's going on? He's like, waving over. I'm like, and then I see 3 policemen coming over towards
What?
me.
So he was just a civilian who
A
snitched.
civilian just out
Imagine.
there looking for tourists to snitch on.
No,
Like-
that is Cambodian Karenism. That's crazy.
It was outrageous.
At its best.
Anyway, this guy comes over, like, holds my hand. I'm like, what's going on? What's going on? He's like, come with me. You need to come with me. And shit, takes me down to some alley. No one has seen me go, by the way.
No.
Like, the boy who I'm chilling with,
He's still in the toilet.
He's in the toilet. So I'm now going with these 3 officers round a corner to some alleyway. And I'm just sitting there. He sits down. I'm like, all right, cool. All right, I get this. I understand what's going on here. Look, I've never taken drugs in my life. This isn't mine, but whatever we can do, let's sort it out. Let's talk. He's like, our captain's coming. Chill out, relax. I'm like, all right, cool. Couple
Man
minutes.
heard the accent and said, I saw he was black and said, look, let's not discuss it here. Our captain is coming.
Our captain's coming. Few minutes later, 2 more officers come down. I'm like, okay, cool. The captain is like, guy says the same thing to me when I try and talk to him. Literally for like about 20 minutes, more officers are just showing up down this alleyway where it's just me, chilling, black man in Cambodia, probably one of 6, fucking, and then like 10 officers just surrounding me. 10 officers just surrounding me. They've taken the little zoo, they've taken like little pictures of it, put in like little rulers next to it, got it in like a little evidence bag. I'm to the point where I'm like, I bet you could even test that to fucking, but I was like, whatever. It's fine, I get this game. Captain finally shows up and he's like, okay, you know this is illegal in my country. I give him the whole spiel about, look, I don't know.
It's
what
not
this
mine.
is. It's not mine. I don't know. Anyway, he's like, cool, okay, I hear you. Still, this is 6 months in jail, in Cambodian jail. So that's what has to happen now. And I was like, well, is it what has to happen now? Is it? Are you sure? Like, and he's like, that's the only way. And I was like, well, look, I get that you guys are all working people. You're all trying to do your best. Like I said, this isn't mine, and I'm sure if you took me in and you tested me, you'll be able to see that it isn't. I've never had marijuana before, so it couldn't be in my blood system. So if you want to go down that route, it's fine.
Hell of a gamble.
We ain't even there yet. So he's just like, anyway, he's like, I'm just trying to get him to ask me to bribe him. That's it.
Yeah.
And he's like, all right, listen, you see all these men here, they're all here to call it quits, $1,600. and then you can walk away. And I've been traveling for a while, and it's not like I went traveling with with a lot of money. Like, so I was like, I already knew how much money was in my account. It wasn't 1,600.
Like dollars.
Dollars, not Cambodian dollars.
Yeah, like
dollars.
Fuck
He
out,
clarified that US dollars.
Wow.
Like, and I knew at best I had £400 in my account. I haven't paid for my hostel yet. I still have like 2 flights to get. I don't know what. I'm
drop
already
me out.
getting to the point of like plans are already, let alone this fucking spanner coming at me. So at that point, like everything just calmed down in my head because I was like, you have no choice. You need to get this down from $1,600 to $250. And then if you can get that there, you'll be fine. And then so I was like, look, I don't have that kind of money. I'm broke. Like I'm literally traveling back to the UK tomorrow in like 2 days. I'm at the end of my travels. I haven't got that kind of money. I can give you $250. I swear to God, I can give you that now, and you'll be good. And he basically laughed in my face. He was like, "Look at these men! Look at these men! They've been waiting here for 10 minutes, like for an hour."
It's a hustle.
And he was like, "You know what? Let me call my captain." I was like, "Of course."
Oh my God, I thought he was the captain.
Yeah, exactly. He was not the captain.
He goes on the phone, goes talking off in the corner, blah blah blah. Comes back. All right. 1,200.
Oh my God.
I was like, I'm not joking. The reality hasn't changed from when we last talked. Like, I have $250. Same thing happens again, like, after about 10 minutes. Down to, like, I think he took it down. I think it was one more, and then he took it down to, like, 600. And he was like, I'm not going down lower than this. If you can't do this, we have to take you into the station. And that's when I was like, then you have to take me into the station. I've never taken drugs in my life. In my life. And if you want to drug test me, you can drug test me. I feel like you can do what you want. I apologize to all of you for wasting your time, but I have £250 in my account, full stop. You can take that or you can take me in. Calls his captain one last time. He's like, okay, it's fine. And then he takes all my shit, my phone, and I don't think I have my passport, and just give him my bank card and gets 2 officers to escort me to the cash point. They stay at both sides so the camera can't pick them up. I take out the money, walk back, give it, shake his hand, shake all their hands, walk into the strip, immediately see my boy. He's like, what the fuck are you doing? I was like, bruv. Let's just go. So yeah, it was.
That is why black people are so wary about traveling. See this little 2-year after uni travel around the world thing?
But I recommend it though.
Oh, I recommend it, but
it's not easy.
Damn, this is why people are scared of it. We used to watch Banged Up Abroad and literally just shit ourselves, like, cause the smallest thing like that, suddenly man's banged up in Cambodia and them places. That's the last place you want to go to jail.
Nope. Guys, I was really conscious of the fact that the last thing I wanted to
Is
is go to jail on like on a Thursday night, just with nothing on me.
That's
mate.
low.
It was good, but I knew. Like, I've been traveling for a while, and you get the idea from people that people give bribes way too easily. Like,
How long did you travel for in general?
Well, I was in New Zealand for a year, and then I was going around like Southeast Asia for about 5-ish, 6 months.
Okay.
So that was the part where I wasn't working.
Were you the only black person traveling around, or did you meet other black people?
Every now and again you'd meet one. Hey. Like, you literally you couldn't because it was so rare that you just see one. You'd be like, it's going on.
So it was rare.
Yeah.
It was
Of
rare.
course it is. How many black people, that go traveling after?
There was one other, like maybe 2 black people who I was friends with in New Zealand. And my friends with, there were the 2 black people I saw about.
Black people in New Zealand.
No, in the hostel. But then, to be fair, then I was seeing some girl who was black, and she knew quite a few black people. So but it was a tight, it's end of the world, man. There ain't no black people there.
But I say in New Zealand, I don't know the racial makeup. Obviously, you got like
It's white. It's white and Maori.
So you got
okay.
Aborigines in Australia.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
what's the
They have
black version? 'Cause
Maori.
So the Maoris class themselves as black.
No.
Okay.
They're Maori. They're their own thing.
Yeah,
they're,
exactly.
they're probably closer to like
Polynesian or some
yeah,
shit.
exactly.
Yeah.
So they're huge.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
everyone
yeah.
from South Pacific. This
I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. That's what's giving the Rock his
The
size.
Rock kind of, yeah.
They're just fucking wench.
Yeah.
Like, not even wench, just masses.
The
of
All
people.
Blacks, basically.
The All
The
Blacks,
rugby, yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
So I don't know. I feel like they're from like a warrior culture. I should have probably looked into their culture more. But that's
So
out
there's
there.
no like blacks, just random like blacks. And you go, say, you look just like me.
As in, 100%. Like, but they
Okay.
were like people, like if you kind of see like the diaspora from like Africa, You know, like quite a few people go to Europe, quite a few people go to America. Then it starts to thin out. But then everywhere you go, you'll see Nigerian.
I was waiting for it.
I know there's Nigerians.
There will be a Nigerian on every
Everywhere.
country. Fact, I know this.
I was waiting for it.
Crazy.
Like probably a Yoruba as well, not even just a Nigerian.
Yeah.
I would go as far to say there's a Yoruba person in almost every country.
God.
I wouldn't be surprised there's like a little Nigeria in North Korea.
Yeah,
somewhere.
if we ever get like an African China, so when I say African China, I mean like a superpower rise up.
Wakanda, basically.
Yeah, it's gonna be Nigeria. It will. For me, come on, like resource. I mean, just in terms of financial and how Nigerians move, like
I don't know, man.
I think it has to be.
Well, it is the 8th most populated country in the world.
Yeah, but if population meant
Yeah,
money,
financially not doing
So-
too badly either. It's not.
Well,
Well, individually.
exactly.
it stays with certain people. Like the country financially is doing terrible because
Is it?
The gap between rich and poor is
Well, yeah, okay, the
is
disparity,
huge.
yeah.
Inequalities.
It's huge.
Yeah, that's a lot of places.
You know.
but yeah.
But that is the
It sounds like their
definition of a poor country.
GDP and
That's as in if a country is poor, there will always be rich people. Like North Korea's probably got a few billionaires in there. Well, maybe not North Korea because that's a bit too wild. But like all these Eastern Bloc countries, they all have rich people. But
Yeah.
the measure of a country is how little inequality there.
well, I always say like the middle class. How affluent their middle class is.
If they have a middle class.
Yeah, if they
Yeah.
have a middle class, yeah.
I don't
even
I
know
think
if Nigeria has a
nowadays
middle class.
they're growing to have more of a middle class in Nigeria. But from when I grew up, there was just rich and poor.
Basically, yeah.
That's it. Like there's no middle class line.
So in terms of the country's worth, as in like how they stand economically compared to other countries, as in
Yeah, no, Nigeria's making money.
Yeah.
But that's the problem. And the reason why
Better
why I
than
was-
Ghana?
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
and,
yeah,
and
fine. You
Nigeria
look at the
has just
table, I
so
think
much
Nigeria is-
resources.
Yeah, of course.
But like, and and people as well, like in entrepreneurial shit, like there's people doing stuff. But the problem is just the system of Nigeria is just so deeply corrupt.
Yeah.
And it's the reason why I don't think that, that Wakanda will I feel like it's more likely to happen from a country like Ghana or a country that hasn't got all those resources
Yeah.
that
Resource, yeah.
breed the corruption.
Yeah, I love the Ghanaian president, prime minister, however it's turned there. But like, whenever I hear that guy talk, I feel like he is someone. Him and the Rwandan president, I feel like them two guys there, they are the kind
They
of
have a
figures
kind of
we need.
unity, kind of
Yeah,
un-
niggas,
yeah.
you need to kind of unite Africa and kind of move on. You know what I'm saying?
But I think it also stems back to what you said the other day about just because we're black, do we have to have a unified stance?
No, I mean it's crazy. Obviously, like Africa being so big, you would never you kind of expect okay, you don't look at the difference between someone from Burkina Faso and Congo, might be vast cultural differences,
Yeah.
but kind of in the Western diaspora, it's but yeah, I don't know, man. I choose to believe there's hope. I choose to believe.
There's no reason not to believe there's hope, though. Like, you think about Asia, all of the top, fastest growing economies in the world right now, I'd say about half of them are in Asia. And you think back to, what was it, the 70s or 60s when half of China was in famine?
Exactly.
Like,
Exactly.
People have gone in 2 generations from extreme poverty to eating meat every day. It's great, and there's no reason why Africa, Nigeria, all of these. I'm so pessimistic about that shit, man. I
It
just
can
feel
happen.
the corruption. It would need some level of flushing, a revolution level, but.
Yeah. The way I see it is the charge being led by again Paul Kagame, Rwanda president, who again you look at Rwanda's development over the last few years, decades, it's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah, Rwanda
So-
was in pure famine.
Yeah.
Not, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
When how long ago?
Yeah.
Ethiopia, I feel like, is also. I
Where?
don't know, Ethiopia, I feel like it also started to come up.
Yeah,
quite well
yeah,
in the last few
definitely
years.
developing. Yeah.
Yeah.
But then you look at when I see say France giving back artifacts to Ghana and other countries, whatever. The cries are starting to get heard. At least you got prime minister presidents now who are actually calling out European countries to give that back. So we are a step towards getting our resources back. We're still a long way. Long way. But at least I feel like there's people in power who have some kind of objective to do these things, not just to, line their own pockets.
Continually line their own pockets.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it goes down to, as I was saying, I think the people in power in those African countries. You know, you've got, as you mentioned, 2 people, but you've still got
50 odd countries.
exactly 50 odd countries of people in power that have been built from I will do about me. You know, I get there and I will make sure my pocket's aligned more than everybody else's.
But
I
nothing,
mean, but it's the same for every. Look at our government here. It's just obviously we've got like a better starting point, but
a better system to how can I say, investigate corruption more. So there's more.
I don't know. I wouldn't say that. I would just say obviously, the corruption here is continuous, ongoing, and it's not really called out so much to speak. You still got like a fairly affluent middle class compared to other countries, whereas in those countries it's the same people corrupting those leaders. It's always the same. Our leaders kind of saying, hey, you know, I'm gonna give you this, but you know, just you know, just do that for me or do that for me. But yeah, I think you got as much corruption here, just it's not as highlighted as when you got a country which is so polarized between the rich and poor.
But I was more thinking of financially in terms of here there's more tracks and balances in terms of, for example, Boris Johnson becoming like siphoning millions to
What's
the
happened
side.
to him? They're still in power. Rishi Sunak.
Yeah,
is
cool. Yeah, it's true.
still-
But
yeah.
siphoning millions, like for example, in every Nigerian president, like you can go to their Swiss
Governor.
bank accounts, governors, you can go to their Swiss bank accounts and they'll have millions and billions of pounds stored
Alright,
away.
so when we got the release of the what papers the other day, there've been 2 set of
there's
papers.
the Panama Papers.
Panama
once upon a
Papers.
time.
That you see like all the Western government's officials, they've been siphoning money the same way, probably way more than these people. But
I don't think there's no difference between, you know, embezzlement of a Western leader, but like there is a level of like when it isn't legal and it's actually frowned upon. I just remember when I was in Nigeria, living in Ondo State, then being like a governor election. This is Ondo State, one of the smaller, like it's not a
not
money
Lagos,
make. It's
yeah.
not Lagos exactly. And the amount of money this governor had embezzled in just 4 or 5 years, it's the levels that like, you know that hospitals weren't built because of this money. You know that fucking schools weren't built.
Roads are still looking
Roads
like
are
shit.
Exactly. Here, because it's, you know, that kind of upper class, that kind of like, you know, under the table kind of bit more, there's a bit more, I would say class, but there's a bit more discernment in a way. Like they need to be a bit chill about their shit.
I think it's a more sophisticated
Sophisticated is probably a better
sense of
word, yeah.
embezzlement. Yeah.
But like often that is, I don't know. That's what I mean. I think it's just, there's more layers. But it's still influencing people. Someone's not getting a hospital built somewhere. Like,
And let's be-
NHS isn't getting funding.
Yeah,
like,
somewhere.
you know
Yeah,
what I
let's be
mean?
real. To make the money, like a lot of our leaders might like send 2 countries to war and make money off of selling the arms, kind of thing. Like it's probably more detrimental worldwide how leaders in the West make their money than like a leader in those countries
Yes.
who are just kind of killing their own people.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
What do you do with the fact that, like, the UK, for example, one of our biggest exports is weapons, like weaponry to the rest of the world? If there are no wars,
Yeah,
the
exactly.
UK GDP takes a hit. We become a slightly poorer country.
Exactly.
We all have a poorer life as a result.
Exactly. But that doesn't bother me. I don't mind that. What bothers me is kind of the malaise of middle class living where, okay, so either you accept that your country is funded by weapons and you embrace it, or you say, all right, we'll let the money go and let's just be an ethical country. But it's kind of like, oh, hear no evil, see no evil. Let's just, like, that is the kind of, I think that's like the root of evil. You know what I'm saying? That's where evil thrives.
What's that saying? Evil thrives when good men do nothing or something.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah,
That's-
yeah, yeah. What film is that from?
I don't fucking know. Like somebody.
Yeah, it's all like it's a classic film.
It's a classic one. I don't know. I feel like
And I was just
do
telling
know.
Chi
Is it a
the
Few
other
Good
day
Men?
how much you're a film buff.
I feel like it might be A Few Good Men.
All right, so this is a question we was asking the other day. So remakes, we're just gonna do like a little segment on remakes.
Sure.
So, what off the top of your head, what remakes can you think of in the last few years that have really like impacted you?
The Office is a classic. That's the easiest one.
Right, The
And I
Office.
feel like that was the kind of basis for a lot of, like, the thing. Most remakes are rubbish though.
But, all right, so question: UK Office or US Office?
US Office for me.
I'm a UK
Sacrilege.
office for me. I didn't really
Sacrilege.
watch the US office that much.
I thought it's
Like I'm UK, yeah.
I thought they just cornalized it. They took all like the kind of sophisticated nuance of the humor and just made it very slapsticky.
Did you watch all of it?
What, the US one?
Yeah.
Not the whole thing. No, I mean I
Did
watched
you watch
it
past
now.
the first 2 seasons?
Why, did it get better?
That is a lot
So
to get into a show.
So realistically, the first season is a carbon copy of the first season of The Office one.
Right,
But
okay.
like it's American, so it's shit.
Right, yeah.
Like, and then the second season is when they start to like be like, maybe we should try and do our own thing. Mainly because the UK Office is only 1 season, isn't it? So
It's like two.
Nah,
I
it's
think
like two,
3. Yeah.
Sure. So I feel like in the second season they started again. It might be completely wrong, but they started to change it. From the third season, I feel like it became the US Office, like what then went on for like 8 more seasons. So like based on quantity, like that's a big part of why I think the US Office is better.
There's
There's just
more
so
to
many
watch.
more episodes.
That's like, for me, that's like difference between like America and England. Quantity over quality certain times. So
That
it's
is
like,
100%.
we're just gonna mass produce this shit like McDonald's and churn it out. But sometimes you want to like one good burger.
That's why
No,
there's
I
so
hear you.
many black British actors in America
Exactly.
doing well because they have so much quantity, but their quality of acting.
You think that's the
Isn't
reason?
that
You
that
think
is
that's
100% the reason.
Do you think so?
Yeah, I think the British actors are better actors.
It is shocking how many black American actors are British.
Yeah,
like
it
that
is.
you wouldn't even realize.
Yeah.
Nah.
Like that one who's in that DC show, the Torch guy, the black kid who was in Legends of.
Oh yeah, it was in
Yeah.
Legends of Tomorrow. Yeah, I see him the other day
Just
in
see him down in Hackney.
Oh,
What?
the short fella.
Yeah.
I forget his name, but he was Javon.
He was in DC Legends of
He was,
Tomorrow.
yeah, it was.
Okay.
And then there's the one that's in All American. There's a random TV show in America. It's actually called All American. He's playing this.
How do you know
American
every
football.
TV show now? Have you ever heard of this show?
He's playing this American footballer, and I did not know till the second, maybe third season. This guy's British.
Yeah.
How long did it take you to figure out Idris Elba was British in The Wire?
Oh, that broke American hearts.
That really did.
That
man.
really, that hurt.
Him and Hugh Laurie
brow.
broke American
Yeah,
style because they
yeah.
thought, look at these smart, capable American. Oh, they're British. Oh shit.
Oh,
Okay,
shit.
yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember what we were talking about together.
Remakes.
Remakes, yeah. Yeah, but that's it. So yeah, that whole point about quantity, it's a fair point, but it's not the only reason. It's also the fact that for about, I'd say, good 6 seasons, it's a really funny show. Like, I would give both of you give it another chance. Like, it is fucking hilarious.
I
It's-
thought if I got skipped to season 3, that's already a bad sign for me. I don't know.
as in, it's a classic for a reason. Like, I think it's probably the most watched. It was the most watched show.
It
on
was.
Netflix
It
for a
is
Wow.
very
while.
big. But
It
then
was
Brooklyn
that one.
Nine-Nine is a big show, and I think that's terrible.
But see, comedy is relative though. It depends on your humor.
I guess everything is.
Well, I guess everything is, but
But comedy
comedy
especially.
strongly
Yeah.
is because it. Some people like that slapstick kind of comedy,
Yeah.
and some people like more comedy that's not in your face.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. So
like
yeah.
Jason Bateman. Some people
Who's
like that
Jason
kind.
Bateman.
Fargo.
I've never got into Fargo.
Arrested Development.
Arrested Development.
Date Night.
Your name
Date night.
shows.
It's a movie.
What are
Movies
these
is-
things? No. What? Who?
Teen Wolf. Huh? Teen Wolf Part 2.
What? No. I mean, Teen Wolf, yeah, but Michael J. Fox.
Yeah, the one
Yeah.
who played him in this Part 2. Because Michael J. Fox didn't do the Part 2, so
I'm so
they brought
confused.
Jason Bateman to play the Teen Wolf.
What? Like when we was young?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was like one of
Jason-
his first films.
Yeah,
Are
that
you
was one
fucking
of his-
kidding me?
Jason Bateman is basically one of these actors. He's a comedic
Fucking-
actor, but
Oh,
he just-
Ozark.
yeah, that's what I said.
Man, oh,
Ozark.
you
Yeah.
did not say
I said
Ozark.
Fargo.
You said
Yeah,
Fargo.
You said Fargo,
Yeah,
yeah,
which
yeah.
I was also like, I don't watch Fargo, so I was like,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sorry, I meant
Oh,
Ozark,
okay.
not Fargo.
That dude, he's like the, I don't know, like, you know that generic white man?
Yeah.
That, like,
it's a Lego person.
you could put someone else in his place and I'll be like, oh, that's him. Like, there's about 2 dudes in that Hangover movie who look,
Oh,
is
you
he
said this
in
the other
Hangover?
No.
No.
Is he not in Hangover?
He's the, to be fair, the person who's in Hangover is basically the same.
Yeah, there's 2.
Ed Hemper?
I don't know, but the guy who's like, who gets kidnapped or whatever, like, the guy who's getting married, that to me is the same person. The guy who's got glasses on, he takes the glasses off, he's the same person.
Well, they say that like
I'm
He's
not
got this.
good
He's
with-
got this thing with there's like 4 white characters in total. And
Yeah,
they
four white looks.
They
and
can
then-
all be re-replaced. Like you could put all this actor
100%.
here, that actor there. this actor there.
Like, as in, like, you can see, like, okay, good examples. Like, I always see it in terms of, like, tier. So, one of those archetypes, for example, would be Leo. The Leo look. Leonardo DiCaprio. If you can't get Leo, you go for the next one down, let's say a Ryan Gosling. Because Ryan, I know what you're saying.
Ooh.
I put them in different brackets. I put them.
They're probably both tier ones. To be fair.
Yeah, Ryan Gosling now, after the Oscar,
yeah.
Ryan Gosling is
That's
tier
fair.
one.
That is
Yeah.
actually
It's
fair.
work. He won an Oscar.
Yeah, of course he did.
Yeah, for
For
La La
what?
Land.
For La La Land.
What the hell was that? So what was that about?
That was the one that wasn't that the one that beat Moonlight that everyone was really upset about. Or
They
did
didn't
Moonlight
win.
win?
They didn't win shit.
Oh no,
that's the one they said.
They said won it, but yeah, sorry.
And then the guy came out and was like, "We didn't win." It was- okay,
All
so
right.
a couple years ago at the Oscars, they got these two older actors, to be fair, to come and give the best movie award.
Right.
For some fucking reason. No, it wasn't their
Oh,
fault.
I remember this.
Yeah,
They called
yeah, I
out
think
the
they
wrong-
gave
they
him-
called
I
out
think
the
they
wrong
gave him the
name.
wrong card. Oh no,
Yeah.
they misread it.
And it was like the black gay movie.
the Black Gay movie
yeah,
actually
yeah,
won
okay.
it, but yeah.
Yeah.
Did anyone actually watch that?
It's on
I've
my
never
to-do
watched
list.
Moonlight, you know.
It's been on my to-do list for so long.
We did not embrace Moonlight as a community.
We
Like,
didn't.
It might have been a good movie.
It is a
but I
good
just
movie.
Like, ooh.
Yeah,
No,
I
as
don't-
in, it's
and
not-
I've watched everything. And strangely enough, I'm not sure.
so close to
but
watching
I
it the
really
other
like
day.
Marshall Ali. He's a
fucking
really
love
good
Marshall
actor.
Ali. He's a great
He's a
actor.
really good actor, especially in what's it called?
Green Book.
Green Book was good,
Green Book's fine.
I remember
But-
that looked too serious as a movie. It looked.
but I was more thinking the Daredevil and the Punisher.
He's
Oh, that- the
was
one-
he Luke Cage?
No, he's not Luke Cage.
He is in Luke Cage.
He's in Luke Cage. Yeah, he's the baddie.
He's the baddie. in
Yeah,
Luke Cage.
I liked his
yeah,
role.
yeah,
I liked his role in that.
Yeah, he's gonna be the new Blade as well.
Yeah, apparently, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
They really wanted to get Denzel, not Denzel.
It's wicked.
Wesley Snipes to play it again.
Did you see how skinny Wesley Snipes was looking at the
He-
Oscars?
Nah, I didn't.
Yeah, he was looking. There's a picture of him, yeah, wearing this his suit, and it kind of looks like a boarding school, like these Nigerian boarding school kids, like their whole full suit. And there's him, and there's that kid.
He might be getting in shape for a role or something. He might
Yeah,
be.
true.
I don't know. I feel like Wesley Snipes went to prison and then he got just too prisoned. Like he's come back looking too ratchet to be in Hollywood anymore. Like I feel like he had a sheen to him before when he was in those
Had a
movies.
sheen.
And then he came out and it was like, what was that film he did with all those other old action heroes? Expendables.
Yeah.
Expendables. And he just
Oh my,
looked-
bro! What in the Captain Kirk is that?
That's Wesley Snipes on the left.
That is a maddest outfit. Wow!
That's what
I
he
really
wore
wish
to
I
the
could hold
Oscars.
this up to the camera and let them see this outfit. That is some Star Voyager.
Jesus Christ. You need to get one of those little boxes where you can put some shit.
We'll superimpose it.
Yeah, because people need to know about this.
All right, so like you see Atlanta, yeah. You know,
Did you watch the new episode of Atlanta?
Yeah.
Is it out?
Yeah. Oh, so you haven't seen it?
No, I didn't know. Is that?
Oh,
I've watched 2 episodes
I've watched
on
2.
your thing.
Oh,
Cocked
yeah.
up on Flex. Yeah.
you need to hook up on my
Yeah,
UE Flicks,
your
man.
name's not on there. It's-
Yeah. Oh,
Okay.
I haven't told you about my UE Flicks.
No, you
Oh, I've
haven't.
got UE Flicks, Netflix. Anyway,
Is that for Netflix?
no.
Okay.
I've got my own personal drive now.
So everything he adds on there, we
everything
get
I
to see what it is.
download,
Oh, so
I
you're
give the
starting-
logins. I'm starting my own Netflix. It's called UE Flicks. But yeah, so yeah,
Wildly legal.
wildly very legal because of Plex.
Mm.
Shout out Plex.
Shout out Plex. There's a lot of
I have
like weird
Plex.
independent
I
films on
didn't really
Plex.
understand it.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay,
I
we're
didn't
gonna
really
talk about
understand
this.
it either.
Yeah.
But I can kind of see where it's going.
I got
Yeah.
Plex like years ago, and it was trying to like, it was somewhere to. You know what? Let's talk about this later.
I watched a
No,
Bad
it's
Boy
interesting to talk
documentary
about.
on there.
Basically,
I watched a documentary. Sorry, was
Go
Uncle
on.
Fry's in there. Like we talk about the 90s hip hop thing.
Oh yeah.
There's a documentary on one of the guys from Outlaws, and I just thought like it's so good to have these independent platforms like that, because when would he ever have like a documentary that's like you know
Netflix
what I
ain't
mean?
gonna pay 500,000 for it.
Yeah. It was a good
But how was
documentary though. It was good.
Well, which one? Which one? Was it?
Napoleon.
Oh, okay.
Do you know who that is?
Yeah, I do. Of course, I was a big Outlaws fan.
Oh, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Nobody was an
I
Outlaws
was a
fan.
big Outlaws fan.
Why?
I don't know. It was the time when I was in Nigeria. I was in boarding school.
Are you
So my boy
serious?
was Idi Amin. Like we were members of the Outlaws
Oh,
in
that's-
boarding school.
That's fascinating. I did not know they had a fan base. They was always like the guys
Before
at
you
the end
know
of the
what?
record with Tupac. Like,
This is why the internet's a magical thing, man.
Wow. No,
this is
All
before the
fans,
internet.
That's what I'm saying.
do you
Now,
have a
these
favorite
fans can-
Outlaws verse?
Oh,
Or who is your favorite outlaw?
mine was who was it? Mine was he was Idi Amin.
You're looking like the worst fan.
Fidel
right now.
Castro. Who's
Oh, really?
Fidel?
Okay.
That was mine. He wasn't my favorite, but that was just my name. So
Oh,
yeah, that
okay.
was just my name in the Outlaws. We weren't really like we listened to their tracks religiously. We more followed their spirit.
Okay.
And that was our outlaw
just
spirit.
like the
at boarding
fuckery.
school.
Just like the fuckery.
Yeah, that was like, because
Right.
obviously at the time we were, so basically when you're in Nigerian boarding school, yeah, I got sent to boarding school after finished secondary school. Yeah, so I'd done 16. I got sent back to boarding school, back to like year 9 in Nigeria.
Shit. Oh, so what you're saying is in my mind you was younger. So you
Yeah,
was like 16
so I was
plus.
16 plus. So, but I've got sent back to year 9. And in Nigeria, there's a thing where no matter what age you are, if you're in a year above me, you're my senior.
Right.
Yeah. And there was a few of us that were older than the people that were above us. Yeah.
Right.
And the people above us could tell us literally to do anything, like kneel down there, go and do this, go and do that, go and do this. And we just embodied the outlaw spirit because we weren't listening to them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, so that's
So
kind
he was
of,
an outlaw. Okay.
but yeah.
Fair.
Yeah.
Who are the other dictators in this? You said Fidel.
Fidel, Idi Amin,
Hussein.
Hussein.
Of course.
It's literally all the old dictators.
Nice.
That's basically what the outlaws were.
Who of those dictators are still alive now?
What,
Just
either
out of
dictators or the rappers who
Not
use
the
their
dictators
names?
that use their names. The names that they use. Just out. I'm just.
None of
Yeah.
none of them are alive still, innit?
I don't know.
Edi's dead. Castro's
Edie's dead.
gone.
Yeah.
Hussein's
Hussein's
gone.
in a box somewhere.
Yeah.
Who's the last?
Gaddafi's gone.
Gaddafi.
That's it.
That was the
Gaddafi
one.
died.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gaddafi's gone. Yeah, they're all gone.
All in
Yeah.
horrible ways as well.
Yeah. Enemies of the West. Don't
But
live long.
they weren't.
Well,
See, the
Gaddafi
question
wasn't
is-
always was he?
No, none of them started off. Like, there's all
yeah,
friends
they
in the
all-
West when they needed them. And
when they needed them.
yeah, and it's like, oh, what you doing now? That's too much.
Yeah, exactly. Like, were they bad? Were they completely bad throughout?
No,
Or
it's-
were they just portrayed by the West
Yeah,
to
no,
be
it's just
bad?
who you're serving at the time. You
Yes,
served the right
yes,
master.
They were bad. I'll go ahead and say that. Yeah.
Go.
Because if you're a dictator, by virtue of being a dictator, you are above law. You
But
Isn't-
who says dictator though? Who says they were full-fledged dictators?
if you weren't in power
By
through
a democratic
democratic
rule.
election,
If you're
you're a
in a
dictator.
country where democratic
So
election
democratic rule is a Western,
very,
isn't that a
very-
Western
this is
The
I
Western
don't think
ideology.
I don't think I don't think necessarily like a strictly Western ideology, because you look at democracy, it's like just a system of fairness in a sense where everyone gets to choose. But if you got a country now where every time you got someone in power, but that country you don't like, we're gonna start funneling money into the opposition. You now got to start really clamping down on the opposition, because you're seeing the same thing happen over and over again. So it becomes a thing where you have to suppress that side, and it becomes that, because now you can't have that kind of freedom of speech where you've got that side being militarized by another country and being almost given a line to spill. So it's hard to have a democratic process when they're going to kill you.
well, that's the point, though, isn't it? It is democracy is inherently hard. It is hard to run a democratic nation, and it makes a lot of sense to have one guy who's just like, well, I'll just do it all, because you'll keep fighting with each other. But that is inherently what a dictatorship is, when one person has no checks and balances.
All right, so
and that leads to fucking craziness.
all right, so what I'll say, say for instance, like someone like Corbyn, right? So you wouldn't have like a dictatorship where you would say like, okay, we're gonna kill him and you're not allowed to vote for him, you campaign for him, but what we'll do, we got a sophisticated system in place through the media where we will completely sabotage him.
Sure.
So you don't have to kill one. So you don't necessarily get democracy either, just kind of the illusion of democracy.
I hear you, but like the problem, I think in this country, where the problem we have is that the government doesn't actually want to fix these problems. Like, for the most part, the government leans into the culture war that we're having. It likes that we're all fighting. It likes that we're super tribal. So I'm not saying that we have a perfect democracy in any sense, but I'm saying if you have a democracy, you're more likely to move towards fairness over time. Like, we're a lot fairer in this country than we were 20 years ago, for example. 40 years ago, it gets exponential. Even America, as shit as America, like as much as America is on fire right now, they're still progressing forward. And like, people can try and make it seem that like, you know, people trying to be more inclusive or trying to be more open and shit is what's actually destroying countries, but it's not. It's just a culture war. It's pitching people against each other, making them feel. So anyway, so that's to the side. But we've had one government in power throughout most of this like social media uptick, and it's done nothing really effective to like actually address it. So we are more likely to have someone come in and change it than if Boris was a dictator and was like, I'm the one in power and I'm going to now stop other countries from talking shit about me and talking shit about us because I have complete control.
I hear that, but in a sense, like, so the same way they treated Russia, so you now have, and the same thing with the COVID thing, so where you kind of had, maybe in previous years you could be more controlled about things, and things opened up to the point where you can hear these different voices. Now it's like they're sealing it back up again, because, yeah, you can say, okay, we're not going to hear that point of view at all, only the point of view we want you to hear. Not necessarily. I mean, like, you know, people ain't dying on the streets like dramatically, but it's not democracy as we're being sold it.
As in, it's just not perfect. But like, with regards to like what do you mean things are opening up?
So
and closing down again.
So in terms of freedom of speech, so now if you have a certain set of views which don't align with what the system wants you to be saying, you will be frozen off of social media platforms. Your things will be taken down. Like, you've seen like channels like RT being taken off. You've seen people who speak on certain things, whether it be Joe Rogan or whoever, kind of being villainized for not having the same inline view. So yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Well, I hear you. And we're definitely talking a lot about that. We're talking a lot about all these people getting deplatformed and how we're being silenced and shit. But Joe Rogan still has his platform. He is still the biggest podcaster in the world. Made the biggest deal that's ever been
Please say
made.
how much it was.
It's like 200 million.
Exactly.
Minimum. Like, people have been looking into it and they're saying it's probably a lot more than that. Minimum. So, you know, people like Joe Rogan saying that, and I'm a fan of Joe. I haven't listened to it in a while, but it's entertaining. I don't get the whole vilification of it, but the people who have been deplatformed, really deplatformed, you have to really look at like what's that idiot, Katie Hopkins, or I think Tony Robinson eventually maybe got deplatformed. It takes one. They give you multiple strikes.
Wiley.
Did Wiley get deplatformed?
They took him off Twitter, yeah.
Taking him off a lot of platforms.
Socials,
He's had to go on a whole new, different kind of social.
Yeah. For what reason?
Jews. For anti-Semitism.
What is he saying about Jews?
I can't remember with it. He said, what did he say? Something about complaining about Jews controlling the industry.
Yeah,
or some
controlling the
shit.
industry. Because his manager's a Jew or something, and he was stopping him from progressing.
Wow.
Yeah, you know, that's the golden things you can't say anything about Jews or Israel. Like, that is like, so it's the same time again. Now, you can say like there are, and again, I kind of address this in terms, you had all these new kind of platforms building up where you started getting voices contrary to the regulated opinion. Because our parents, we kind of came up with like whatever the news said and that was it.
Yeah.
My parents are still like that.
Yeah.
Very much so.
Because you're geared into that mind frame and everything else becomes like, oh, fake news or whatever.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, I think the whole, same as conspiracy theory, the creation of that title is the same thing. So now you've got like a concerted effort to downplay voices which aren't the mainstream voices.
But what do you do though? What is the solution in this really? Because the reality is we now have this machine that anyone can just say any shit and it will spread like crazy. So I've never been a fan of censorship or anything, but I also can't pretend like I haven't lived in this country for the last 2 years where I've seen all sorts of crazy shit being said. Like, and because there's that element of fear, it spread like crazy. Now, so
I mean, so there's no line between, so if that guy wants to say something that's crazy, and that's on you to kind of use your judgment and say, okay, that sounds stupid or not. But it's not on them to say, you lot can't use your judgment, so we're going to silence all of that. And you just hear what, if this side were actually telling the truth, it would be fine. But if I'm just getting more rhetoric and lies while they're filling their pockets on this side, it doesn't really make sense to me, you know?
Yeah.
For them, it makes perfect sense to control the narrative. For me to live in a controlled narrative, it doesn't make sense.
There's a lot of different things we're talking about here, though, right now. For example, with the Wiley thing, it sounds like even though he had a personal grievance against a Jewish person, he took it to an anti-Semitic place.
Yes.
If you have a problem with someone and you're like, it's because the Jews are controlling the industry, that's an anti-Semitic statement. If you're a private company that platforms fucking half the world and you're trying to create some level of like rules and regulations, you got to start in the really obvious places. Anti-Semitism, racism, all the homophobia. Sure, it gets really muddy when you like all of a sudden you're banning someone because they were having a personal disagreement with someone who was gay, and then even though they didn't reference the fact that they're gay, they've now been blocked because they seen that as a hate. I'm not saying it can't be muddy, but I'm saying it is fully within their rights to fucking curtail people from saying certain shit on their platform. You don't want to, at least from an optics point of view. Like, Twitter was created with the mindset of keeping it as free as possible. Like, that was the entire bent of the people.
But it's not that anymore, is it?
No,
It's not, but functionally, because they've seen how many people it's killed. Like in India, they used to have honor killings where they'll kill someone for killing a Muslim person for killing a cow. It used to happen like once or twice a year. It now happens like 70 times a month because someone would just go on fucking Twitter and be like, "Oh, this fucking Muhammad down my road killed a cow yesterday." It will fucking spread on WhatsApp and then they'll go and kill him. So many of these things, like everything we have in this country is chill compared to what's happening in all these countries because they don't have moderators, because they don't speak English. So if you're not on an English platform, like,
I mean, Twitter's not an English platform.
it is an English platform.
It's a global platform.
It's a global platform and it translates into different languages. But the bulk of moderators who are watching the shit that gets said on it are English speaking.
Oh, English speaking. Okay, that's different.
So
yeah.
all of the shit that gets said in other languages is basically just out there, just allowed to proliferate. And those are the open ones. WhatsApp, which is a closed social media platform, is 20 billion times worse.
Yeah.
Because people can just, that's why they started to do. So none of these companies wanted to censor anything for the longest time.
All that is fine and square if you have censors which are coming from a good place, coming from a balanced place. If now you can't say anything against Israel, but you can say whatever you want against Palestine, that's not balanced. That's not balanced censorship. So I think that is the main problem: is who's censoring us.
I agree.
Money, the people that control the money.
Yeah,
That's
Larry Fink of them.
I agree, but I think there's a problem that we can't talk about the fact that
Larry Fink.
You keep dropping that name in there till we get killed.
Do you know who
or
Larry Fink
people
is,
learn.
by the way?
No, but
Okay.
until we get killed, I probably don't want to know.
Yeah.
So just leave me out of that one. But what I was going to say is that, like, yeah, I do think it's weird, for example, that people call out the Israeli state for atrocities against Palestinian people and then it gets wrapped up in anti-Semitism. It's a really good tool that gets used a lot by a lot of powerful people, not just Jewish people, a lot of powerful people who are just trying to silence. And that's the problem with the culture war. It just gives everyone a bullet that they can just use whenever they want. But I just don't believe in any of it. I just think it's all bullshit. I just think it's all narratives. It's all just narratives being created. I'll give you a perfect example. I was thinking about this. I was listening to the one you did last week. And when you guys were talking about that trans athlete who transitioned, went from number 400 and some shit to number 1.
To number 1.
Like, do you remember a couple of years ago where there was another trans athlete who transitioned and she was like, when he was a man, he was like not really high up in the weightlifting and then transitioned to a woman and like broke all the records and shit, right? Do you remember the story following it? Like when she was...
No.
Because the whole arc of that story was this person's transitioned to a man and to a woman and is now breaking all the weightlifting things. Can't wait for the Olympics when she's going to get all the gold medals and shit. Is this what you want, woke America, woke blah, 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 blah? None of those stories happened. We just kind of moved on. It's because, like, you can't just fucking say I'm a man, I'm a woman now and be that thing and do that sport. You have to... They test your testosterone regularly. They won't let you in until you've looked at a certain level of testosterone. So when she went back in for the competition, when she was actually at the official regulated guidelines, she wasn't shit. She didn't win.
Right.
So it's like all of these stories get created because we've gotten to a place, for example, now where most people, if you're like, this person wants to identify as a woman and wants to live her own shit. Most people are like, I don't care, do your own thing. That doesn't get the anger it used to. Before, all you need to say was there's a gay person in your village, and then that's it. And it would be pitchforks and go and burn them down. So it hasn't got the anger. So they need to now find ways to make us basically say this line. That's not fair. That's not fair. And once you get people into that, and there's so many ways you can do that. And with the trans athletes, that's one way. With what's another good example? I don't know.
Will Smith.
Let's get into Will Smith. Like, this fucking guy.
You're dying to jump.
I know. That's the only thing I've been consuming for weeks now.
Me,
anyway.
I'm the most upset that Samuel L. Jackson won his first Oscar given to him by Denzel Washington.
Did he win an Oscar?
What?
And the Oscar did not air it.
No,
the
don't
Oscars
lie.
did not air it, bro.
Are you serious?
He won a lifetime. His first Oscar, he won they called it something special, but it was a lifetime Oscar. Denzel Washington presented to him, gave him a whole speech, blah blah blah, then presented him the award. They didn't air it.
I've not even heard of it.
Exactly.
Rah. Because we've been
talking about Will Smith.
We BET the Oscars.
But the deepness of it is that, like, I've also seen a bunch of articles where, like, well, other than the Will Smith thing, here are some other great things that happened.
Exactly.
And it still didn't hear anything.
Still
about
didn't
it.
hear
I did
nothing.
not know that at all. What did he win the Oscar for? Sorry.
It was like a lifetime achievement kind of thing. They
Okay.
called it something
Because
special.
people
Let me
thought
get the
Will
name.
won that. Like, that's something I heard. People thought Will had won that, but he won
Best Actor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
for King Richard.
Yeah.
Good film though.
Have you seen it?
Yeah,
I still ain't watched
No, it's a good
it.
film. Very
I
good
will
film.
watch
I think he portrayed him like it made me look at Serena, Venus, and the father so completely different. And he portrayed it brilliantly.
One question I heard yesterday was, why is a film about two of the greatest female athletes of all time based around their dad? Yeah.
Oh, that's just
Because
problematic. Just being problematic.
That's
innit?
exactly because they're still technically one. Is that's still alive? Yeah, or is he dead?
Yeah, no, he's alive.
He's still alive. One, I think they're still in their career, yeah,
Sure.
and they have more than enough time for a movie to be done about their career. Like this was just the start, and it was about their dad.
I think
And-
that their story, the amazingness of their story is to do with the upbringing, which really is the drive
Yeah.
of their dad.
Exactly.
Sure. That makes
So
sense.
I just think people just like to
Yeah.
so, you know
People
what I
like
mean?
to complain.
It's
Exactly.
like if we get this Disney's Child biopic, really it's got to be a Matthew Knowles biopic. You just want to see the life of Matthew. You don't care about Beyonce. You just want to see what happened with Matthew. How did he make this happen?
It's a very valid point. Yeah.
See, that's what I'm saying. Look, a whole big Oscar. Look, John Travolta, Uma Thurman, Samuel L. They all reunited at the Oscars to
I
give him
saw
his
that
whole
picture
thing.
of them looking at a suitcase.
Oh, is that where?
They're all to give him his whole award. They did the whole thing. Why did they
if
not
I
air
was
it on
Samuel, I would be so mad at Will Smith. I would
He
take it
gave
to the
Will
side
Smith
after
the
the.
biggest handshake. Like, he hugged him. Like,
Yeah.
he in that handshake was like, I respect what you did right
Yeah,
there.
Cotton Sainsbury wanted to slap a nigga on stage for years.
Yeah,
He's got that energy.
This is what someone was saying though. It was like, you have to understand, all these Hollywood folks, like they hate the fact that they have to go to that thing and have someone make fun of them
Yeah.
because they're the most privileged, special people on earth. No one ever talks shit to them.
You can
And
see
then-
the ones that can have it. You can see the ones that like they really don't.
But
like
even
it.
the ones that can have it, like, it's still acting as far as I'm concerned. Because no one, think about how how rare it must be for Will Smith to hear anyone say a negative thing about him. Like,
Oh, wait.
I'm taking it back to
what?
Will Smith. I'm taking it back to Will
no,
Smith.
in the last 3 years, how often do you
him.
think Will
To
Smith hears
him.
something negative
To his
about
face.
him?
To his face.
I do. I feel like I don't know because he's a big dude,
He's a-
but I feel like people probably shout things for the window.
No.
August,
I wish.
where's your wife, Will? Like, bro, you can look at the guy and see he's under some real trauma.
But this is what I'm saying. I feel like the last few years has been him actually, for the first time, experiencing any level of challenge really since he was like maybe 16.
Exactly.
Like,
He's
'cause he
had a
literal
storm of a career. Like ever since he did the space film, like
in
Independence Day. Literally,
He's the only actor to have 10 consecutive 100
million grossing films.
Yeah, shall I say something real messy?
Go on.
Can't be real speculative and messy. So, like, if you look at it, you know, like a lot of the rumors about Will Smith and, you know, some of the activities he engages in his private life.
Oh, that Will Smith's gay.
Has indulged in things, and there's always like, oh, he done that to get his break at a certain point.
Okay.
And Independence Day is like when they say, well, that's when he boom, boom, and then from then it went like that kind of thing.
Sure.
I'm just putting it out there.
But as in, what would that? As in, I don't find it hard to believe that a lot of actors, male and female, did something like that's Harvey Weinstein's entire business model.
Exactly.
Was,
Yeah.
Are you fit? Will you have sex with me? Then you get a role. I don't think I don't know.
Hollywood's the most corrupt place.
It's the
One
most
of
corrupt,
places
sickening
going.
fucking place on
And
earth.
it's
But,
very sickening.
But that still doesn't account for the consecutive 10 movies.
Yeah.
It maybe gets you that first one through the door.
I don't know. So you're in a Hollywood party and you.
But does it get 100 million
Does it
people?
get
100 million people like watching your film?
It
Oh,
don't-
I mean, 100 like grossing,
doesn't get-
Yeah, I mean, if you've got a certain budget of film that's going to be pushed a certain way, then it's going to
it's
be
not.
We've had
successful.
so
John
many
Carter.
big budget films in this world, in this time. So many big budget films. Not.
I'm not
they
saying you don't.
haven't
I'm not saying you
grossed.
don't have to have talent, but I'm saying it's definitely conceivable that some people will get breaks because of things that they do.
100%.
I mean, that's how Hollywood works. Yeah,
No,
it's not to
right,
do with
okay,
whether
so
they
cool.
got talent, whether the movies would have been big anyways.
Okay, it's cool. So you get the break, yeah? You do whatever you do, you get the break and you get that role, yeah? But what I'm saying is that role and technically that film doesn't necessarily grant you the success.
No. Not even a little
Oh
bit.
no, yeah, of course
Not
it
even a
does.
little bit. No, it
No,
don't.
Of course it bloody does.
I'll give you a perfect
Come on,
example.
man.
I'll give you
If you get
perfect...
getting platform doesn't grant you a certain level of success. So even to get the looks, to get those movies, to get to be that, get that shot of that Hollywood A-list. In Hollywood, obviously, there's certain movies that you know are going to be the big roles for this year. Now, certain people know there's only a certain list of people that are going to get those roles. To get into that echelon, people who live and die in Hollywood never get into that platform. You understand? So it is like, obviously, anyone who's not got there looks at it like, whoa, what did they do to get there? It is like, yeah, it is a privilege to be on that certain level, and not everyone makes it there. It's not like if you're in that level, you're going to have success because you're going to be in that film, that film, that film,
No,
that
this
film.
is
Right.
what we're
Then
saying,
we're not
though.
talking about
It doesn't
success.
guarantee...
You're cool. You're going to be. You're already an A-list actor. You're already that person that's going to get this big multi-million pound role. Yeah, you're already that successful. Yeah, but you've got there. You've done to get there. Yeah, and now you've done this film. Yeah, this film isn't guaranteed, even though you are that A-lister. I'm talking guaranteed in
Nothing's
terms of.
guaranteed, but there is definitely more chance of. There are movies that are made in Hollywood which are made to be blockbusters.
Yeah.
So
And
if
they
it
bomb
doesn't
all the
happen,
time.
it's a flop, and it's a flop because the expectation is that this movie with that budget, that director,
Yes, it's meant
is
to be.
going to it's meant to be that status of movie.
Yeah, but we have so many flops.
So many flops.
Yeah, you have flops, yeah.
There are significantly more flops than blockbusters.
Yeah.
Like, yes. No, as in, this is
And
what
we're
I-
talking
alright,
about
alright, so-
revenue, like literal revenue. Like compare the
I'm
revenue
not
they used to
sure-
make the film and the revenue they made from box office.
I'm not sure what the point of this
There's
is.
more flops than
The
there is
point of
hits.
this is that, like, even if Will did the most debauched, the most fucked up shit ever, like he
Whatever he did, yeah?
whatever he did that he probably didn't even do, but whatever, it wouldn't have guaranteed him anything more than Independence Day. Because the only thing that guaranteed Will another role after Independence Day was the performance of Independence Day in the box office.
in the box office.
Because I know this, because like it's one of my favorite things is to watch actors get to this point where they're like about a great example is the guy who was in John Carter a couple of years ago. He was in John Carter and Battleship, the two
Biggest.
blockbust- They spent
so
probably
much
close
money.
to
Yeah.
$1 billion on both of those films. Two different studios. This is him. He was in like this. What's that fucking show? Sunday Night Lights, I think. He was like the lead in that for a few years. I think he'd done one little role and everyone was real buzz. And this was his year. And this is what happens with all these actors. They have a year where they're like, where essentially a studio invests in you and like takes a chance on you. You're going to be the next big star. And they were really confident in him. They put him in 2 huge movies.
Right.
Both of them flopped. And he didn't do another movie for like 3 years. And then when he did, I think it was like a beam. Like his career was, he missed his chance. And it happens to Arnie Hammer. Another
Happens
great
to so
example.
many.
Arnie Hammer's the guy who played the Winklevoss brothers in the first Social Network. He's in Sorry to Bother You. Do you remember that one with the guy from Malik from
remember,
Atlanta?
so, yeah.
He was the guy
Where he was working in a building and he's trying to Atlanta. You know the other guy in Atlanta, the Nigerian one.
Lakeith Stanfield.
Yeah. Keith Stanfield.
He's in Sorry to Bother You.
You need to watch that film
Good
because it's
film.
fucking good. But it only came out a few years ago as
Yeah.
well. It's got what's that incredibly attractive woman in it? Tessa Thompson. It's got Tessa Thompson in it as well.
Film is so
It's
outrageous.
so weird. It's so good though. It's like a black indie. It's the only
Yeah.
black indie film I've ever seen.
Something. Is he living in his garage in the film?
Yeah.
I saw that trash.
It's
No.
weird, isn't it? But the white guy at the end. The white guy at the
I
end.
ain't even
who's
making
got
through
the
20
whip.
minutes of that film.
Oh my
it gets
days.
it gets better.
It gets so much better.
You lot got patience, well.
Oh, wow.
You know, just sit there and watch 2 seasons of something which is shit to get to the first season and say it's good. Like, no, man.
That's a hard fact. I've done that more than once.
More than once. I've done that
crazy.
7
Are
seasons.
you sure, bro? Because I'm on like episode 6 of season 2. All right, but yeah. Anyway, he had the same thing where did a good movie, wasn't that big, did like put
Alright,
him in
listen,
like
look. I'm not debating the fact that like you have to, once you have to have hits to get
Sure.
cast again. But what I'm saying is that to get to that point, and I'm not even standing on the point, you have to suck dick to get that point. I'm just saying that is a point of contention. Where a lot of people feel like to get those breaks, you need to do certain things. You hear the thing about, they don't cast black people till they start to do a role wearing dresses or something. But it's always been that kind of tension. Again, I am not saying I believe it or don't believe it. But I'm saying, like, to get into that position to be casting in those movies in the
They do
first
say
place
that, yeah.
is
It's
a
like
certain
Moonlight won
privilege.
this first Oscars because it was a homosexual film. They say that. It was one of the first black films to win an
They
Oscar.
You know, Will
say
Smith
that.
done a movie where he's like a homosexual teenager in
6
bef-
Degrees of
before,
Separation.
and that was just before Independence Day, right?
Yeah, 6 Degrees of Separation.
Okay. So that's kind of where that.
as in what we
But again, I'm not
Listen,
standing on that. I'm not
but
definitely
what-
not saying
the
that.
thing you're not even
Will Smith
standing
is a
on.
very talented individual, and he deserves all of the movies he got after Independence Day, including Hancock, because he.
The sarcasm in that was just terrible.
No, but yeah, I'm stepping off that point because I've made my point. But I'm
Yeah.
just saying that's why people kind of felt like there was something.
Cool.
as in people.
You can say that about a lot of things,
People
basically.
always
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I feel
Music.
like when I was growing
Because
up,
he went into Scientology. That was another big.
Yeah.
That was another
Who?
big.
Will Smith went to Scientology.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, Will Smith.
oh
went
mate,
in, yeah,
this
Will
is,
Smith
this has
was
been
one of the big.
most
Tom
convincing
Cruise.
arguments for why he slapped Chris Rock. Actually,
Go on.
was he bought this school or like donated towards this school like $1 million or $10 million, I'm not sure, towards this Scientology school. Even though they all deny being Scientologists,
Yeah, exactly.
They're like all friends with Scientologists, donating to Scientology. Anyway, this guy was saying how a common thing in Scientology is to slap, the open palm slap when people are misbehaving, when you feel like you've been disrespected. It's like something they teach, and they teach it in the school. And he was saying how like Tom Cruise even does it, but he doesn't do it physically. He does it with this thing where he'll lower his fucking tone. It's almost like a fucking visual slap. But it's basically a kind of mindset they teach within. And he was like, this is the kind of toxic shit he's learning out there. Of course he's gonna think that this is the right reaction.
I mean, I ain't gonna lie. I don't know any Scientologists, and I've seen many a person get slapped. So like, I don't. Yeah, I hear that. I do
Have you
hear
seen
that.
many people go on stage and fucking slap another? I don't know.
Nah, not so much.
There's so
but-
many reasons why he
Yeah.
would have done that.
Yeah, I mean, talk shit about my wife. I don't think you need to be a Scientologist to.
You see the joke that I put on there on the Trello.
No.
So obviously, Chris Rock said the thing about Jada. Will laughed and then looked left at Jada and goes, "What do you think Tupac would have laughed?"
Oh
I
shit.
did see that. I did see that.
Yeah, no, that's a horrible pressure. You know?
Oh,
Yeah.
He talks about that still to this day, and it's like, I just feel honestly. Anyway, yeah, that's a horrible pressure to have in your relationship.
I was listening to another guy talk about it, and he was saying how like people. And this is the thing that I thought he was trying to say in his acceptance speech, where he was like, "I've been playing King Richard for last year, and the world is asking me to do this and do that." And people like, even King Richard actually made a statement. Richard, their dad, made a statement being like, "Violence is never acceptable. Why are you bringing me into your shit?" But anyway. But like someone was saying how he changed a lot over that year because he really tried to take in.
like he did the whole method.
He did
acting.
a method acting thing, and one of his female co-stars apparently was on another radio station a couple of months ago where she was like, she wrote him a letter, Will Smith, a letter being like, "I'm not getting basically, long story short, I'm not getting equal pay. Like my pay is quite a bit lower, and how he took it upon himself, like really to make sure this woman and a whole bunch of other actors like got. So he started to really embody this whole mindset of I will fight for my family no matter what it takes. And I think that's clearly like started to melt into his like new personality, because I feel like his ego has grown quite a bit over the last few years, and I feel like he now thinks of himself as a bit of a black savior. Like he needs to. I feel like we're a couple months.
I
off him
do
saying,
feel
"I
like
wanna be
he's-
president."
Why's the door open?
Oh shit!
What time is it?
It's 1 o'clock.
Oh,
All right, easy,
shit,
fella.
yeah.
All right.
Sorry.
Yeah.
How did
but
that fly
don't
by so
worry.
fast?
We'll go till the electric's cut off, man. You ain't getting.
so yeah, go on.
Yeah. So anyway, so this guy was basically saying that the Fresh Prince is maybe gone and King Rich is all that's left, and this is just a like think about the trauma he's gone through. Everyone just mocking him for his wife dating his fucking.
That's
son.
all I think it really need to look at. I don't want to psychoanalyze Will Smith.
Yeah.
I know. I feel like it's reductive.
It's kind of redundant.
man
It's been
got angry.
overdone.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like I remember doing like English literature before, right? And there'd be like thesis work on like what this person meant by this line. And so I always feel like he probably just meant like this one thing, and Uno just like come up with like 5,000 different reasons of what it means or whatever.
And that's the same
Yeah,
with this.
he might just had a bad day.
Yeah.
His wife looked at him a certain way for fuck that shit,
fuck
man.
that shit, and he
Yeah.
went up there and
Yeah,
did it.
yeah. I hear
Yeah,
you.
toxic. And
But this
yes,
is the
go.
problem. We all just judge life like it's content now. Like I did comparative literature at uni, and that's why I'm going through all these different. But in the back of my head, I know it's just he lost his temper. He's got a fucking huge ego. He wanted to slap Chris Rock. And
Yeah,
not more
it
deep.
is all content creation now. Because the next day I saw like every platform had
Every
like,
platform.
oh well,
days.
just a different angle. They're like, well, oh.
Yeah.
How have you learned to control your temper? It's the stresses of marital. Dude, you slap someone like Will Smith, and it's like
It's all
fucking
the ecosystem,
yes.
man.
Yeah,
It's all
exactly.
That's why I didn't want to touch
We're
it.
part of
This,
the
Yeah, I know.
this
ecosystem. We're
episode.
going into it. So.
But yeah, it was another good episode.
We didn't get into the aliens.
We didn't get into a lot of things.
of subject we didn't
You've
get
got to
into.
come back. You've got to come back.
I'll
You've got to
come
come
back,
back one
man.
of these
This is
days.
Yeah, man, we appreciate having you here. It's definitely been a very knowledgeable conversation.
Yeah,
Indeed.
It's all
Brought a
I
lot
bring,
to the
bro.
table.
I just enjoyed sitting there watching you two just conversate and just go through it, battle it out. It was
Yeah,
great.
It's good.
At what age did you feel more intelligent than your older brother?
I don't know. When I grew conscious, I guess.
He said something. This is what I was gonna bring up. He said something to me last week, right? And this is what he said. And I was like, oh my god, how did I let get away with that? He was like, African households are more studious, whereas Caribbeans,
Studious.
I know, and the fact that he's
I said
Caribbeans.
studious.
But then he says studious, and I thought,
said
oh
studi-
my,
I'm sure I
no, you
I'll
said
rewind
studious.
this.
All on film.
That was a thing. So the whole thing was like, oh, we are so studious. You used the wrong word. It's like, no, how did I let that go? How did I let that go?
Oh, but yeah.
Well, next time.
Next time.
Yeah. Anyway, it's been as we say, it's been a beautiful show. Episode 5, wrapping it up.
That episode felt like it went so quick.
It really
quick,
did. I think we
So
started a
quick.
little late.
Started.
You know, no, we still got an hour. We've still got an hour on our show. You know, which is good. Signing out, myself, Yui,
Mr. T.
and our special guest.
F.
Cheese,
Oh, I gotta fly.
cheese. See you later, guys.
Peace.